teachers of Reddit, what is the most ridiculous excuse for unfinished homework that you've ever heard? Taught instrumental music down in South Texas. So I basically never gave any sort of homework outside of practicing. 6th grade, gave the kiddos a super basic theory sheet to complete that was due back in 2 days. Since I had a dentist appointment the next day, when I'm collecting the sheets, a trombone kid tells me my grandma stole my homework in Mexico and won't give it back. Turns out they were visiting his grandparents over the border outside Matamoros and his grandma really wanted something of his to hang on her refrigerator. So she took the homework he had just finished and put it up. Kid protested, but she wouldn't relent. So he snapped a pic as proof, graded the sheet from the picture. Kid got an A. I got a story. I've got the opposite story. A teacher lost my homework he marked as he left it in his shed, and it got eaten by slugs. He did show me the slug-eaten paper, and gave me full marks for it, so it wasn't all bad. My toddler once completely shredded about 5 kids' assignments I'd taken home to mark. Luckily they were able to reprint them for me, but it was a little embarrassing. I was a tart during uni. They sent me an email. Sorry, computer is broken, I'll need an extension. This was early 2000s, so where were they emailing from? If it was the computer lab, well then, that's where they could do the assignment. But more than they were on my ICQ. I'll let students add me for extra help, so I saw them online pretty much all weekend. I mean, if their computer worked well enough for that, and to look at pictures of kitties, how could they not complete their work? Well, who wouldn't want to look at pictures of kitties, lol. Not a teacher, but one of my classmates said that their dog ate their homework. 1. She has a cat. 2. The homework was online. The student claimed he put it in a room in his house. He then forgot the room existed. He was at a loss to explain where his homework was. He was upset to think he must have imagined doing it. He apologized to me. The next week, to his amazement, he found the room. And more amazingly, he found his homework. He handed it in that week. Now this may seem like nonsense, but it turns out he had an operation to remove a tumor from his brain when he was 10. One of the outcomes was a strange side effect that for a short period he could utterly forget a room or more in his house. True story. Confirmed from his mother and sister. So the family was in it. Damn. Well played. Not a teacher, but we had a report due and I waited until the last minute like always. I slept through class mostly, and one day I was abruptly woken up and asked for my report, and I said half asleep. I didn't do it because my mom died. The teacher was disgusted that I would say something so cruel and sent me to the principal's office. The teacher was called into the principal's office after they found out I wasn't joking and was so apologetic. I wasn't trying to be a jerk about it. I was just tired. I ran out of pencil ink. This country has a couple long weekends, but the students want to get a couple more days off on top of it. So on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays before the holiday, I start getting messages about people's dead grandmothers. It's never the grandfather. How many ducking grannies are dying out there? I'm gonna starting asking for a picture of the body. Not a teacher. My little sister ate my homework in the 1st grade and no one believes me. This is a little off topic, but the question reminded me of this. Back in 2nd grade in the mid-80s for me, I had a mean teacher. One time I didn't do my homework. She asked why, and I told her I didn't feel like doing it because I had a headache from listening her talk all day. She gave me a paddling, which was the norm back then. She then asked me if I was going to start doing my homework. I told her no, because my butt hurts now. I'm going to have to tend to that when I get home instead of doing homework. It was worth it because it made the class laugh. Not a teacher, and I actually finished my homework. I was in 4th grade, and we were doing a spring cleaning and emptying our binders of anything from the previous unit. I guess I was being too slow because my teacher just grabbed my binder and shook all of its contents out into the garbage, including my homework. I told my mom what happened, and she told me to just be upfront about it and to not worry. The next day I went up to my teacher. Instead of collecting our work, she would have us bring it to her, and the conversation went something like this. Where's your homework? Apostrophe. You threw it out. I threw it out? Exclamation mark. Apostrophe. Yes. Apostrophe. She didn't speak to me after that. Not a teacher, sorry. But my friend told her he went bungee jumping on the weekend and she said she needed proof. So we very badly put his face on some GoPro footage. She thought it was funny and excused him for the effort. A kid, high school, claimed that he couldn't do his homework because his grandmother wouldn't give him back his textbook, which she had taken in retaliation for his theft of her wooden leg. The fifth time the same student said he lost his homework running from a dog that was chasing him on the way home. I broke my back, apostrophe, as she walked towards my desk. I believe she was going to give a different excuse or at least mention a different body part, but the panic overwhelmed her and she went with her back. Both sadly and hilariously, I couldn't help but give her a "are you dumb?" face. The new version of this is just uploading a blank document to the online Dropbox and playing dumb. Gee, professor, I'm not sure why that's blank. How weird. Isn't that weird? Well, here is my paper 2 days after the due date. Not a teacher, but I had a classmate who was blind and had a seeing eye dog. One day he told the teacher that his dog ate his homework. He did homework through some braille device thingy and his dog looked genuinely guilty. She said that's not good enough and the dog promptly vomited up paper with typing on it all over the floor. He got a very quiet sorry and was never asked for his homework in that class for the rest of the year. Was never asked for his homework in that class for the rest of the year. I guess she turned a blind eye towards him for the rest of the year. Happened just a few days ago. Students told me that the work is too difficult for him to do. The work in question? Handwriting practice exercise. This brings back some memories. Not a teacher. This was a close friend of mine. My mum chucked it in the bin. Basically her mom is obsessed with cleaning. She hated the slightest bit of clutter. My friend had done her homework and must not have tidied it away clearly enough for her mother, so she threw it away. She only realized the next morning. There she was telling the teacher in class. What could he do? Yell at her mom and give her detention? The parent was involved in the excuse. He was visibly annoyed, but she got off no problems. In case anyone is in dire need of a get out of homework card that guarantees no consequences, here it is. Ups lost the flash drive. I don't know if ridiculous, but a classmate of mine changed his profile picture on Facebook with a candle on black background, signifying death of a family member, with the caption "We will miss you, Aunt Laura." Hundreds of people offered their condolences. I messaged him asking what happened, and he said it was faked, just so our professor would give him a week of extra time to mourn, because he hasn't finished an important project yet. 2 months in, and the teacher still hasn't found him out on it. Not a teacher, but an excuse. I used to have this little Jack Russell named Rocky that would eat absolutely everything it came across. One evening he was chilling out on the couch next to me while I was going over an English essay I'd spent hours writing in my workbook. I get up to go to the bathroom, leaving my book on the couch. I get a bit sidetracked, make some food, and come back to find my essay covered in dog chunder soaked all the way through, with a random bolt amongst the mess with no way to salvage it. Next day teacher asks me where my essay is. I tell her my dog ate a bolt and threw up on it. I get kicked out of the lesson for being ridiculous. Life can be tough. Not a teacher, but my classmate gave the reason my house burned down. The teacher believed him as well, probably cause it was true. I taught math and science to a grade 7 class last year. The work a student handed in was not in their own handwriting, so I called the parents. The dad admitted to doing the work for him because my son's going to be in the NHL. He doesn't need to do math and science in grade 7. This kid wasn't even the best player on his red team. Please subscribe and leave a like if you enjoyed this video and if you want to see more of Reddit Universe.